All right, good afternoon, everybody. We're back. I know this is just recorded a day ago. I haven't released it. It'll be released tomorrow. But yesterday, there's a couple things we got to talk about. Yesterday, Israel bombed another hospital. It's getting a little ridiculous. I don't even know why. It's amazing that we have to read this. How do you do that? How do you do that not on purpose with the weaponry that you have? And it killed 5 journalists. And the thing is, look, things happen, right? They need to go to Bombings Anonymous and figure out their problem. But they have been doing this for a long time, and if it's a whoopsies, then why does it keep happening? I'm going to show you the tweet from Benjamin Netanyahu. It was, what's today? The 20th, yeah, so the 25th. So yesterday at 1:23 p.m. At 1:23 p.m., he says this. It says, Israel deeply regrets the tragic mishap that occurred today at the Nasser Hospital in Gaza. Israel values the work of journalists, medical staff, and all civilians. The military authority are conducting a thorough investigation. Our war is with Hamas terrorists. Our just goals are defeating Hamas and bringing our hostages home. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about that nonsense. They've had multiple opportunities to get their hostages home. The reason that they don't is because they need to continue this cleansing of Gaza. It's not because they want the terrorists. They used to use their special forces and operators to just hit, small hits, small raids, and find these people, but now they're just leveling Gaza. It's not even like it's not obvious anymore. The few pictures that we get from other news sources, the place is leveled. They will not let most journalists in there. So it's kind of surprising that there are some journalists when they were working with the Gaza Humanitarian Fund or whatever that NGO was, that you come to find out it's just nonsense. They're not really feeding anybody. That was a great Tucker episode. I'll share that in the show notes. But an ex-Green Beret, a lieutenant colonel who was a Green Beret for like 25 years, went over there to help plan humanitarian aid with this NGO, and said that they were told like they just can't take pictures on flyovers. But the French did, and I guess this the Syrians, I don't know who it was, did flyovers like for Jordanians flew over and took pictures, and they were asked not to. And the reason is because the absolute level of destruction is apocalyptic. That's what Aguilar said. That's what the Green Beret said. He said it just looks like the apocalypse. So no, we can just start from the beginning. Israel deeply regrets nothing they're doing shows any type of regret at the tragic mishap. Okay, well then why don't you tell us exactly what happened? This shouldn't be a big investigation. It's not like it's this giant place. This isn't the first time you've hit this hospital. You don't value the work of journalists because they're turning on you. And civilians you clearly don't care about. That's the next. Israel values the work of journalists, medical staff, and civilians. No, you don't. The civilians are starving to death. You won't let food in there. You keep taking their land. You keep killing their kids. You keep radicalizing the whole area in the name of what? Because your book said 4,000 years ago, this is yours now. And so you blackmailed the entire world and all the politicians so that you can just do anything. I know Trump did say that he does not like what he saw. Excuse me. Our war is with Hamas terrorists. So listen, if you want our money, if you want this ungodly amount of money that the U.S. is giving you and the aid we are giving you, weapons and among other things, we need to know how you're going to do that without killing another kid. Because if you can't do that with our money, then you can't have it anymore. It's so reprehensible to me that we would even align ourselves with people like this. We talk about strong American values, valuing the family. Our value of life is so high. I don't even remember, like Jessica Lynch. They sent multiple battalions of Rangers after her when she was captured. We just value life more than a lot of other countries. True statement. None of our morals and none of our we just do not align with Israel in this moment right now at all. The tragic mishap at the Nasser Hospital in Gaza. Well, you hit that hospital in February of 2024. It was a ground incursion with air raids. Then yesterday, you hit it again with a double tap airstrike. And then the Al-Ali Hospital in the city, the emergency room damage and evacuation on April 13th of 2025. Now, there was one in the other hospital mentioned, the Al-Ahili. Forgive me for not really knowing the name. The first time it happened was in October 17, 2023, but we're still not sure if that was a Hamas rocket that went wrong, that detonated in the courtyard. Either way, this has been going on since 2023. So if you can just look at a calendar, this is not new. This is nothing that is new. They don't regret this. They are trying to cleanse the area. It is quite clear. I mean, even people who are on Israel's side, it's becoming very hard to defend this. It's pretty indefensible. And again, if it was a tragic mishap, it's not going to happen again. It's happened 4 more times. I'll include the link to the what it's like to be a Christian in Palestine right now. We have got to let them know what our values are, and this is not it. If they have AIPAC, we should have Christian something, just to tell them this is unacceptable. And you know what, man, our politicians need to step up and grab their nuts or whatever they got, and just say enough of this, until you can figure out how to fix this without killing and starving to death an entire region. Or if you just want to be honest and say you're trying to cleanse the whole area, in which case this is unacceptable and we can't give you any more money. I mean, it's all over the news. Again, here's a CNN clip. Outrage after Israel kills 5 journalists in double tap airstrike. Israel is facing fierce condemnation after a pair of strikes in Gaza hospital killed 5 journalists as well as medical workers and others on Monday. At least 20 people were killed in the attack, according to the Palestinian Ministry of Health, with many more injured. Israel carried out back-to-back strikes on the hospitals. It's not a tragic mistake, dude. The attacks were separated by a matter of minutes. How is that a mishap? I wonder if I can, let me see if I can ask, let's see, ChatGPT. Okay. How far did the rockets travel to hit Nasser? All right, let's see what it says. So how far did the rockets have to travel to hit the Nasser Hospital when launched yesterday? Let's see what it says. We are thinking. Anyway, while it thinks, hypothetically, they use Qassams or Grads, 10 to 40 kilometers in range. Not an accident, dude. It's not some long-range ballistic missile. It's not and even if it was, like, they got JDAMs, they're laser guided. The technology nowadays, I mean, listen, it's not you hit 2 precise strikes on a hospital and call it a tragic mishap. You are lying. These people this government has to be told this is not okay. The world has to do this. Enough of this. Let's see. I'm trying to find Al Jazeera, Reuters, BBC, 5 journalists killed, MSN, outrage after, New York Times. What's that? Where is the Israeli Times or Jerusalem Times, Daily Mail, CBS, the Palestine Chronicle. Didn't even know they kind of had that. Bloomberg. I mean, it's just when you talk about Israel bombs hospital, things come up like Israel bombs last functioning hospital in northern Gaza. That was 4 months ago. Israel, 1 month ago, Israel bombs Gaza aid site, cafe, and school, killing 95 Palestinians. 4 months ago, Israel bombs hospital as military occupation. Soldiers killed in northern Gaza. IDF air clips of Hamas planning. Oh, yeah, okay. Threatens Iran's top leaders. Missiles damage hospital. Israel used U.S.-made. This is 1 year ago. Israel used U.S.-made bomb and deadly UN school strike in Gaza. I mean, this is awful. This is awful. And if you and if you're one of those people out there that is a Christian Zionist, I don't know. I'm a Christian. Sure, I curse. I'm not always. I do my best, right? But I don't believe in the just the mass murder of anyone. And using war as an excuse is not a good excuse. Life is just that. It's life and should be taken very seriously. And if you can't do this without murdering innocent women and children, then you can't do it. And, Dave Smith had a quote that I tried to put up, but, obviously it's pretty sensitive, but he was like, if there was an option that one innocent girl had to be killed to save, his example was like the Nazis were going to take over the entire world. Hitler was going to take over the entire world. We had to kill this one child. If we killed this one child, then the world would be saved. Okay. And in that scenario, it's like, that is the worst place to be put in, but hey, listen, like we have to. And then every year on the date of her death, his or her death, we celebrate the life. That person is a hero. Do you understand? Because it should be that way. We should take life that seriously. To save the population, we had to kill this kid. Now, you don't have to do that here. There is no defense. And if you have some, you don't. Never mind. I'm not even going to say you do. There's nobody that has any defense. I hear, obviously it seems like they might be paid by AIPAC or paid by lobbyists, whatever, to say these things. But it's getting even hard for like Piers Morgan to listen to the nonsense when you can just see photos and videos of burning children and kids buried in rubble screaming for their parents who aren't coming because they're dead. Now, many of you could say, well, that's just war. This isn't a war, dude. You see how our wars worked out? Iraq, Afghanistan, Libya. We turned Libya into an open-air slave market. We left millions and millions of military equipment in Afghanistan because our withdrawal. We left the Taliban back in charge, who we were supposed to dethrone. Syria, the leader of Syria is now one of the heads of ISIS that was in Fallujah killing Americans, and we're happy about that. So don't lecture me about what war is like. I am done with this. I'm done seeing these videos. I have kids myself, and I swear to God, if something like that happened to my family, like, just call me radicalized. That's what happens. And they're like, we're trying to get the terrorists. You are creating terrorists every single day. It's an ideology. And it doesn't help when you just keep drone striking hospitals and aid sites and schools and then going, whoopsies, and nobody says anything. To all the politicians, none of which will watch this show, maybe one day, grow a backbone. This is unacceptable. We owe Israel nothing. Nothing. The government of Israel is what I mean. The people, I know a lot of them feel the same way that I do. I mean, I read Haaretz. This is not the way that the Jews work. This is not it. This is not the right thing to do. It's because of a power-hungry government and a Likud party that doesn't want to relent power and has to keep this war going, or he'd be thrown in prison. I mean, for God's sakes, he was funding Hamas through Qatar. He sent Mossad. This is self-inflicted on this government, and this government needs to be stopped. It's interesting that we see it like this now, with Israel the way they are, because this is kind of how America was in the early 2000s with the 7 wars in 5 years. We just thought we could just do anything and get away with it. We were wondering why we were radicalizing areas of the country against us, and people said, well, it's because they hate us for our freedoms. Like, no, they don't. They hate us because our blind support for Israel, when it doesn't benefit America at all. In fact, it makes us look a lot worse. That's what Osama bin Laden said. Let's see if we can find it. Let me see if I can download this. Okay. 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 So I'm going to have ChatGPT summarize bin Laden's letter. So I don't know. It's only 4 pages. Okay. So I've downloaded bin Laden's letter to America, which was sent November 24th, 2002. This is from the United States, the archives. He frames the letter around 2 questions. Why are we fighting and opposing you, and what we are calling you to, and what we want from you? Why Al-Qaeda fights America. It's support for Israel. He condemns U.S. backing of Israel, calling its creation and continued existence against a crime against Muslims. Now, I don't agree with that fully. I think the people of Israel have a right to that land. They fought for it. But the thing is, they have to live civilly with people. Its existence is okay. It's okay to... The people have a right to exist. Now, I don't know about the government of Israel, all of that. Continued existence of crime against Muslims. He highlights the Palestinian suffering as essential for his grievances, which he's unfortunately true. Military action. He lists U.S. interventions in Somalia, Chechnya, Kashmir, and Lebanon, accusing America of killing Muslims and supporting oppressive regimes. Oh, that was yesterday's conversation about how we, with Putin being a crazy dictator, and we sit down with dictators, and I can't believe we do that. It's like we support multiple, I went over that yesterday, oppressive regimes. U.S.-backed governments in the Middle East. He claims that local regimes are corrupt U.S. puppets that suppress Islam. Economic exploitation. He accuses the U.S. of stealing oil and wealth through threats and influence. We know that to be completely true, just on the UN stage. We know how insane the U.S. foreign policy is, just based upon how they were going to try to let Ukraine into NATO, which would have started a war, and it did. Occupation of bases. U.S. troops in Muslim countries are portrayed as desecrating holy lands. Sanctions on Iraq. He cites the deaths of over 1 million Iraqi children. True. That happened. Jerusalem and Al-Aqsa Mosque. He condemns U.S. recognition of Jerusalem as Israel's capital and claims America helps Israel plan its destruction. He just argues that the U.S. civilians are not innocent since they elect their government, pay taxes, and fund wars, and they serve in the military. Therefore, attacks on on American civilians are justified in retaliation. That last part, right, but it's not our freedoms. He doesn't hate our freedoms. It's because we keep killing them. I mean, for 25 years, we did that. We definitely did that. And say what you will about Saddam and Gaddafi and Assad. They're not nice people, but they keep those countries in check. And Saddam actually protected Christians. So anyway, back to this thing with Israel. I am sick and tired of reading about them just killing at whenever they want, at every whim. I hope that Trump, I know that he won't, probably because of several things. I honestly don't. I'm really angry about the whole Epstein grow a backbone, and then he gaslights us about the Epstein files. So clearly he might be compromised by Israel, and most people are. Most, except for Thomas Massey, and I can't even believe I'm about to say this, but Marjorie Taylor Greene, and a few others, a few other loud voices. Candace Owens, I mean, she's not in government, and Anna Kasparian, just vocal about this. But grow a backbone and tell them this is enough. We're tired of it. The U.S. is tired of it. We're going to go over today. There are a representative. I'll show you the video in California. He's a Republican. He is trying to bring suit or something. He has asked Pam Bondi. We'll get into this in a minute, to investigate into the wildfire fundraiser that raised millions and hundreds of millions of dollars or whatever it was supposed to go to the victims of the fire, and they didn't. No money was given to anyone. And so we have our whole country to worry about. And we don't need Israel over there igniting. If listen to me. I guess I'll end it with this whole interview. If they want to exist, which they have a say in it, they need to get along. And we're not the guy that comes up behind you that's 3 times the size of everybody and helps you accomplish these insane goals, some of which are unattainable and very violent. And I'm done dealing with it. I mean, I'm sure I'll be back here next week going on and on about this, because I'm sure Israel he'll probably strike a school and everyone's like, oh, and here's Netanyahu. And I deeply regret. You don't deeply regret anything. You were quoted as, we need to control the flame being Hamas, and that's why they fund them. Anyway, rant is over. I saw a couple things today. Some made me smile. These next 2 things are going to be kind of interesting. I'd say a little funny. I really enjoy, again, I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I see good things from both sides, and I see dumb things from both sides. But my favorite thing now is to watch leftists because their views are also, again, like I said yesterday, is ideological. They have nothing. They will, whatever Trump is doing, they are against it. So it's funny to watch, like, what people with brains, or you thought they had brains, be opposed to, right? So one of these things that they are opposed to is DC being cleaned up. He is a totalitarian and an authoritarian. He is, but the thing is, the courts haven't stopped him because he's absolutely within his right as the head of the executive branch to do this. And there hasn't been a murder in a week, not one, in DC. And I see video after video after video of every type of demographic, from white to black to name your brown to, to Hispanic. And they're all like, this is actually, like, they can't even at this point, even though they're like, I don't like him, but I mean, it's working. Right. But some of the people that are on my page are, I'm sure they'll be able to defend it somehow. I see posts just like, all it says is just totalitarian, and they're talking about Trump. But again, he's doing the right thing. He's making DC safer. So now we're We're for crime. Like, you need to stop talking. You need to just shut up. No one listens. Like, if you notice, like, your engagement, the engagement that you probably get are just, you're in an echo chamber. That's it. You hear no other point of view. Like in the last episode, we talked about how I was just like, listen, him meeting with Russia, you might hate him, love him, hate him. This is the right move, because it is. It's always worked that way. It's always the smart thing to do. You think he's a bully? Talk to him first. If that doesn't work, then figure something else out. But it's just so funny to me watching these people bend over and basically lick their own assholes to try to, I guess you call it mental gymnastics, to just like, okay, so he's cleaning up DC. There hasn't been a murder in a week. God, I hate Donald Trump so much. I even saw a picture. Gosh, where did I see it? I'll try to pull this picture up. I know whose page it's on, but I don't think that person would want me to display their name. Maybe. Oh yes, never mind. I have it right here. I don't need to do anything. This is the kind of stuff I'm talking about. Yes. Dear, it says it's from Jill Simonillo. I don't know how you say it. It doesn't really matter. It says, dear real Donald Trump, I've been carjacked in Chicago with my arm broken, and I still don't want your troops here. Thank you in advance. By the way, there are no red hats here. It's like, do you know what you're doing? That's not a flex. And she wore a shirt that says, you can't stop me. She was stopped by a carjacker, broke her arm. I mean, the picture, if you're watching, looks bad. This is incoherent and makes no sense at all. I have been carjacked in Chicago, because Trump's talking about taking this to Chicago. I have been carjacked in Chicago with my arm broken, picture of her arm broken here. I still don't want you or your troops here. Thank you in advance. By the way, there are no red hearts here. Bro. Do you never want to win again? Is that something? Is that like a thing? Do you guys never, ever want to win again? Like, you guys have like a death wish. You know, I wish I could, maybe I can't pull up some of the comments on this are just, I mean, they are a riot. Let me, there it is. Hold on. Let me see if I can find it here. Okay, yeah, hold on. Let's get to the comment section here. Oh, I guess it's not going to show the comments. Never mind. I guess he just, maybe we can look her up on Twitter real quick. Hold on, Jill. Yeah. Oh, dude, she first comes up real quick. Oh, only approved followers can see her posts. Okay. Well, someone must have saw that and thought she was kind of dumb. Anywho, yeah. So this isn't the flex that she thinks it is, and it makes no sense to not want to make your city more safe. And obviously, it's due to incoherent policies. Because how can Trump do it in 2 weeks? But it's been years. I mean, answer me that. Tell me how that makes any sense. Well, I'll tell you, it doesn't make much sense, because it's people like this. This just doesn't make sense. And this is how some people, there's about 4 of them, you know who you are, on my Facebook are. They're like this kind of person. Or it's like, dude, I got my arm hacked off while I was carjacked, and they stole my baby while I was in the car and threw into a garbage can. I still don't want you here. It's like, oh, okay. Like, and that gets me to my next point is the Wall Street Journal poll that recently found 63% of Democratic voters, or just in general voters, it says voters held an unfavorable view of the Democratic Party, the worst in 35 years. Only 33 viewed it favorably, with just 8% expressing a very favorable opinion. Democrats were viewed less favorably than both Trump and the GOP, and were perceived as weaker and more out of touch, especially on economic messaging. They're only 10 points underwater. That's still bad. I mean, and the reason is because they can't understand, like, it's stuff like this that nobody cares about. Everyone's done being called a racist. What you've done is you've made those words, racist, Nazi, bigot, all they don't mean anything anymore, and that's really sad. Really sad. Because it used to mean something bad, but then you normalized it because you just started. You couldn't make an argument. You couldn't talk to people. You just had to yell at them and yell over them, and pretty incoherently for, I don't know, for 12 years. And you pushed a lot of people. In fact, let's see. I have them pulled up here. You have pushed. Let's take a look at this. Found this pretty interesting this morning. Americans are fleeing the Democratic Party. And I don't know if they're joining the MAGA movement, but I'm sure they're going more into the middle or a little right. You know, I don't know how true that is, but these are numbers that are just pulled. This is on CNN. They've lost 2.1 million registered Democrats. And Republicans have gained 2.4 million. So again, what do I know, right? But if it were me, I would just stop talking, reevaluate, and stop getting angry about the dumbest stuff. I mean, right? Like, DC's getting safer. Why is that a bad thing? Yeah, you know? He's trying to talk peace between Ukraine and Russia. He's trying to fix that. But because he did say he was going to do it day one. Obviously, I talked about that yesterday. So you want to talk about that? Dude, you stay right there. You stay back, man. You take that position. You fight about it all day long because there's just nothing to it. He said he was going to do it the first day. You're right. But we're here now and he's doing it now. Is that okay? It's still peace, right? Or we're still trying to get there. You know, we should hold him to his words. Like, are you sure you want to do that? You want to hold politicians to their words now? Now you want to hold them to their word? I don't think you want to do that. And even when there's Democrat corruption, like Letitia James and all these different people that, you know, they're raiding John Bolton's house and everyone's in an uproar. It's like, well, why is that a problem? You guys, I said this before and I'll say it again. You set the precedent. Hillary funded the Steele dossier, which created the Russia collusion. There are still people out there. Come closer. There are still people out there that believe that the Russia collusion, that he was a Russian agent, is still real. Can you believe that? It's been proven over and over and over and over again. They have the money trail. They trace it back to the Clinton campaign. The Steele dossier was created and paid for by them through a shell company. Then it was told that the intelligence apparatus said this is just not a credible letter, but they ran with it anyway. knowing full well it was a lie, all to take their eyes off of Hillary's email scandal. I don't know, man. I don't know. It's stuff like this that wouldn't say it warms my heart, because I used to be one of these guys. I used to be a Democrat. I'm now completely in the middle. I am a registered libertarian. But stuff like this, libertarians are always a freaking mess. But stuff like this is just, it's exciting stuff. What this is showing me is that people are leaving crazy land, which is where a lot of people I know are still. And you can't talk to them. They just can't, they don't understand how to have a conversation, because they can't, the only things they can talk about are racism, Nazis, bigotry. Yeah, there's probably more on that list, but it's like they can't have any. Again, I said yesterday, first principles, primary sources. It's none of that. It's just like, this is racist because I said so. You're a Nazi because I said so. The Maryland man was it for me. I knew they had completely just been, outside of being crushed in the election, this whole illegal immigration thing, where they were calling him a Maryland man. It's like, dude, he was an El Salvadorian who had like 9 deportation notices and like was trafficking people. But everyone's like, he's just a family man. Like, no, he's not. Like, are we all that dumb? I mean, there's plenty of people who are not. And then there's the leftists who are, straight up. And if you can't have a conversation and be morally on the side of, like, just like generally speaking, good, like, it is good to get criminals out of our country. Or there's this petition to keep that Indian, the Sikh, that killed those 3 people in Florida. They're like, 40 years is too long. No, it's not. He killed 3 people. He couldn't read street signs. He can't read English. He was issued a CDL in the state of California. They should be held responsible as well. He showed no remorse. He got like 2 of the 14 signs that the cops provided correct. Like, doesn't even know street signs. And they're like, this was a huge mistake. It was a mistake. Absolutely. I believe that part. You still got to pay for your mistakes, man. You killed 3 people. Everyone's tired of the whole, like, well, he's an immigrant and he's just trying to work hard. Yeah, we're all trying to work hard and we're all suffering. I have as much love for everyone who's out there trying to work, but if you kill somebody, you kill somebody. I think like I said, what this is showing me is that this mind virus, whatever you want to call it, you don't have to call it woke. Of course, there's another stupid argument about, I see on people's pages, like, well, this isn't woke. What's woke? And what white people can't get right about woke? Like, whatever you want to call it, just the mind virus. People are leaving the mind virus behind and coming back to reality. All right. Which warms my actual heart. Because maybe, just maybe at some point, we can have a decent conversation about, I don't know, things that matter, like our economy, or why we can't afford housing, or why the average age of a first-time home buyer is 38 years old, and or like why this country doesn't have any money to help its citizens when natural disasters happen, or homes are burnt to the ground, and or when they do fundraisers and none of the money goes to the people who need it the most. Maybe we can have conversations about that instead of like, just, if you immediately started a conversation by calling me racist or a bigot, I'm completely ignoring it. The big boys are talking over here. You can stay right over there. Because if you can only see your life or everyone through that lens, and you yourself are kind of a racist, and I don't have any time for that. I need to keep moving. I need to further myself. Because I've tried that. I actually, like, a year ago or 2 years ago, I spent more time trying to like tell people I wasn't, like, than just like living my, like, I'm not. I don't, like, I'm just saying, like, I just live now. I don't have to do that. It's a waste of time. And you know how exhausting shit like that is? Spending your entire life just like trying to have to explain to people and like pontificating on what's the word they use to you have to seem like the good guy. You have to. You can't offend anyone. Moral grandstanding. Like you have to like people nowadays have to be like, listen, for the sake of this conversation, I don't think Putin is a good guy. And then speak truth. Why not just speak truth? We know. We don't have to say this stuff. Like it's exhausting work. And, thanks to a couple of my friends who finally were like, dude, these people, I still have trouble with it, to be fair, because I just don't understand how people are that dense. But these people cannot be talked to. And it's time for them to sit down and relax and figure out a new tactic because no one's listening to them anymore. And they're getting a little upset about it. And you start to notice that. I mean, I noticed that on Facebook. It's like, I'm not really, people post stuff, but, and that mind virus is still there. I mean, you see people who live up in Virginia where I'm from, and they, they act like they have any idea what's going on in the rest of the world. They live in the richest county in the country, and act like they have a semblance of an idea about what's going on in the rest of the country. Anyway, so speaking of houses being underwater and the Palisades being burnt to the actual ground, I wanted to get into something that I saw this morning that was it last night, this morning? I don't know, whatever. I knew that this happened, but there was a fundraiser in California for the victims of the Palisades fire. And a lot of very famous people, a lot of musicians showed up. What a great cause, right? What a great cause. People just like helping people and people that have money to help. It brought in approximately $100 million through a combination of donations, ticket sales, sponsorships, and streaming revenue. Steve Ballmer matched the donation. His wife also matched all donations made during the live broadcast, including a $1 million pledge from U2. So they're saying the total funds raised approach $125 million. They don't know where that money is, dude. They don't know where that money is. That money didn't go to anyone. That didn't help one person rebuild their home. In February, the Fire Aid announced the distribution of $50 million in grants to numerous community organizers, delivering immediate assistance such as housing, food, and disaster care management. There's where has the rest of the money? And what you come to find out, which is what continues to happen. I mean, listen, this state is so baffling to me. How many billions with a B for the high speed rail that has gotten like 100 meters of track done? It's because it's every nonprofit and friends of Gavin Newsom. That's who's getting this money. And there's a Republican who just brought this. Let me find this here to the attention, which I kind of knew this was happening, right? Yeah, this goes back to the first. I'm sorry, we're going to go back for a minute. This is kind of a funny one.
They're cracking down on crime. That's all I can say.
I feel a lot safer, so I'm actually really happy.
I feel like the nation's finally becoming safe again with this, so it's nice that he has our backs and he's protecting us.
Occasionally we would have people come in and guys trying to come in and grab things off the shelf and run. That I'm not afraid of anymore.
Positive effect of it is decreasing crime. I do feel safer walking the streets when they're around.
Okay, so. But, you'll find people who will argue with this and, to spend all their time being like, well, they just don't know and blah, blah, blah. He's an authoritarian and yada, 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 yada. Here, let's do this. This is the one I want to get to. This is incredible.
I have asked Attorney General Pam Bondi to open an investigation into the Fire Aid concert that took place in the aftermath of the devastating Los Angeles fires. What has happened, what we have learned, is absolutely beyond belief. In the aftermath of these fires, which destroyed 18,000 homes and killed, tragically, 30 people, there was a fire aid concert in which a number of high-profile musicians generously agreed to perform, and people responded in an amazing way. Tens of thousands of people donated, raising $100 million for what they were told was direct relief for the victims. But now we've learned that this money didn't go to the victims at all. Instead, it went to nonprofits, some of which have nothing to do with fire relief, where they promote things like voting and civic engagement and multi-generational power building. Some of them aren't even located in LA. So I've asked the Attorney General to open an investigation in order to restore the intent of the donors, in order to make the victims whole and to bring accountability. I yield back.
Is that surprising to anyone? And here we go. I figured, I don't know why I asked ChatGPT to kind of look at this, but my question to ChatGPT was are some of the residents in the Palisades selling their home to foreign investors? And the answer is yes. In the aftermath of the devastating wildfires in early 2025, a significant number of Pacific Palisades residents have opted to sell their properties, and among buyers are foreign investors purchasing fire-ravaged land. It kind of seems like a land grab to me, kind of like the one in Hawaii. That's weird. Nearly 300 Pacific Palisades homeowners have decided to sell their properties rather than rebuild following wildfire damage. Fewer than 100 have initiated reconstruction. Sotheby's International Realty reports 273 properties are listed for sale, many as empty lots, with prices still exceeding $1 million. Sometimes over $10 million in less damaged areas. Israeli military says a strike on Gaza hospital that killed 20 people, including 5 journalists, was aimed at what it believed was. We interrupt this broadcast about the Palisades, which we'll get right back to. This is the AP breaking news. The Israeli military says its strike on a Gaza hospital that killed 20 people, including 5 journalists, was aimed at what believed was a Hamas camera. Can we? Yeah, that's the most insane. I mean, you can't even come up with something good, something better than that. A camera. So you killed 20 people over a camera. Cool. Wonder what the AP News. Let's see. Breaking. Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Israeli says a strike on Gaza was targeted at a Hamas camera. So you killed 20 people over a camera, dude. Enough. Anyway, we'll do this again soon, I'm sure, because Israel's hell-bent on murdering every child in Palestine. So they're selling off 273 properties, sometimes over 10 million in less damaged areas. Foreign investors buying land. A mystery foreign investor is quietly purchasing multiple fire damaged oceanfront lots, acting through the Weston James Group. This investor has acquired 9 large lots in Malibu, adjacent to the Palisades line, for approximately $65 million. Government response: temporary ban on predatory offers in fire-affected areas. Many listings at or above pre-fire values despite damage. Yeah, this place is screwed. You know, I hope they figure this out. This guy Newsom's running for governor. These people have so much to defend when it comes. They're going to get on a big stage and have to defend all of this. You got Karen Bass, who was like in Uganda when the Palisades started lighting on fire. They pay 13% of their income to the state, and they see nothing. The homelessness is a problem. Their income tax is the highest. They know about the fires. I mean, they know that fires were going to happen. They were warned that this would happen. They did nothing about it. I mean, these people have so much to answer for. I saw a video today about, let's see, a firefighter. I wonder if I saved it. No, I didn't save it. He was just talking about things that the local government has said they're going to do, and they're just not doing it. And they're more concerned about LGBTQ whatever else is rights than that's what I'm trying to say through this whole thing is this mind virus, whatever it is. Like they don't want to have conversations about real stuff like fire prevention or whatever. They're more concerned with this nonsense ideological policies or politics that nobody cares about. Gavin's like, make Gavin great again. It's like, yeah, dude, you probably want to be better than you were because you suck, dude. You suck. You suck big time. Like, you run that whole state. You're going to have to answer that whole state into the floor. Like, do not be proud. Like, I wonder if he's going to run for president. We know that. I wonder when he gets up on that podium and they ask him, what are some great things you've done for the state of California? Helped his friends get rich? I'm not sure what it is. But I hope these people get some relief. I hope they, again, I hope they hold some of these people accountable. They need to. Powerful people need to be held accountable in the same way that just normal people need to be held accountable. You are not special. And if you stole a whole bunch of money from a whole bunch of people, then you deserve to be in prison. Period. Jail, prison, whatever. But we need answers. And I think the people deserve answers. Anyway, I guess maybe how much? 53 minutes. Okay, so maybe the last 5 minutes. That's what I'll do. We're gonna go to this article here. We're gonna go to this AP news article and read it together. This was put up at 12:10, so 13 minutes ago. The deadly Israeli strike on a Gaza hospital that killed 20 people, including 5 journalists, was targeted at the military believed was Hamas surveillance camera. This is identified as well as people identified as militants. The Israeli military said the military issued a statement as part of initial inquiry into the attack, which Prime Minister Bibi called a tragic mishap. No, it wasn't. The military said the back-to-back strikes on southern Gaza's largest hospital were ordered because soldiers believed militants were using the camera to observe Israeli forces. So, dude. And because Israel has long believed Hamas and other militant groups are present at hospitals, the general staff acknowledged several gaps in the investigation so far, including the kind of ammunition to use to take out the camera. The initial findings emerged that a surge of outrage and unanswered questions mounted after international leaders embraced Google. No shit, dude. Earlier Tuesday, protesters in Israel torched tires, blocking highways, and clamored for a ceasefire that would free hostages because they've had every opportunity. They just won't do it because they. Meanwhile, Palestinians in Gaza braced for more expanded offensive against the backdrop of displacement, destruction of parts of the territory, plunging into famine. The deadly strikes a day earlier killed medics and a journalist, among them Miriam Daga, a journalist who worked for the Associated Press, who I'm reading this off of. That is amazing. Netanyahu was expected to convene a security cabinet meeting later Tuesday. However, the government said that the meeting will not include discussion of ceasefire talks. Dude, someone needs to get this dude on a plane over to the UN, and they need to talk to this dude. Enough. The official who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not authorized to speak on the matter said that there was a delegation from Egypt in Israel on Monday and they discussed the negotiations. Netanyahu said that Israel will launch an expanded offensive in Gaza City. I'm tired of reading about this, dude. This is so freaking depressing, dude. Anyway, I hope you have a better week than these Palestinians. I hope someone stands up to this. I hope Trump, grows a backbone here for once. Anyway, have a good one. Until next time, have a blessed day.